Well done. You clicked on the link and you're one step closer to getting that dream body that you've always dreamed of. All right? So, how to get into the best shape of your life? Let's get on with it. Everything I'm about to tell you is how I got from this to that. Okay? So you can do it too, I promise. Why this works? Because I'm focusing on the fundamentals. That will always work. No gimmicks, no trends, no shortcuts, no fad diets, none of that. I'm just going to give you consistency and sustainability that you can apply for the rest of your life, okay? So you watch this video. I don't want this video to be a shelf video. What I mean by that is I don't want this to be something that you just keep on the shelf and one day you'll watch it. No, I want you to take everything that I'm about to give you and use it right now, okay? So I'm going to cover diet, training, movement, sleep, supplements, and mindset. The whole shebang. Number one, mindset. This, arguably, but in my opinion, I believe is the most important thing, not just in weight loss or weight gain or whatever you want, but for your whole life. All right. So the first thing is you're not special, and I don't mean that negatively. I just mean you're a normal person, just how I'm a normal person, just how any of those influencers that you want to look like, they're all normal people. They just put the hard work in. Okay. So if I could do this, you can do it as well. There is nothing stopping you from doing it. I did it, you can do it. I used to believe that I was special, that I had some issue and I can never lose the weight. But once I stopped believing in that, I became like this. All right? It bettered me for the good. Next thing is you need to believe it and then you will achieve it. As corny as that sounds, it's true. That's why it's saying. Until you believe you're gonna get that body that you want, you will not get it. Because let's say 2 weeks goes and you're like, I'm not getting results, I'm not getting this, I'm not getting that, and you don't believe you're gonna do it one day, you're just gonna give up. And I don't want you to do that. I want you to believe you're gonna do it and stay consistent because if you don't have consistency, you have nothing. All right. Next thing is accountability. You have to keep yourself accountable. You have to tell yourself you're gonna do it. All right. As much as this video can motivate you, as much as Instagram, TikTok can motivate you, unless you're accountable to yourself, you're not gonna be able to get that body that you want. Okay. And lastly, it's not all or nothing. If one day you have a bad day, like even if it's for a week that you don't go to the gym, you haven't been doing well on your diet, just start the next day. That's all you need to do. Just start, okay? It's not all or nothing. It's not you need to be perfect every single day, okay? We all make mistakes. We're humans. You just have to get back on track. Have this mindset down. I promise you, you will be able to do whatever you want. Not just in terms of fitness goals, in terms of any goals you have for your whole life, okay? All right. The second thing is the diet. It's the foundation of everything. Your diet determines your body weight change. So if you want to gain weight, it's a diet. If you want to lose weight, it's diet. You want your abs to show, it's diet. All right. I don't have to repeat myself again. I'm going to show you two effective approaches. The first one is more for intermediate people, and the second one is more beginner friendly. This is the first one, intuitive eating. Now, I know myself. I know myself 3 years ago. I could not do this. All right. But some of you may. So that's why I'm giving you the option. So this is your plate. You have protein, half protein, quarter vegetables, and quarter carbs. When I say vegetables, I don't mean potato. I mean non-starchy vegetables. I mean broccoli. I mean carrots. I mean lettuce. That's what I mean. When I mean carbs, I mean rice, potato, spaghetti, noodles, anything like that. And protein, chicken, salmon, not eggs. Okay, eggs is protein. It's a good protein source, but you want to eat something a bit more substantial than that for your main protein. Okay. Here are some basic rules. You're gonna avoid liquid calories. So let's say you wake up, you go to Starbucks to get your coffee, get a black coffee, or get a black coffee with a little bit of milk. Don't get your frappuccino, macchiato thing, mabob that has a billion calories. No, get the regular coffee. And drink soda or juice and anything like that, don't do it unless zero sugar, zero calories. You're wasting your calories. That's how you get fat. All right. If you're the type of person who drinks a lot of soda, a lot of drinks with a lot of calories in them, I promise if you just cut that out and just switch it out for water or zero calorie drinks, you will see a lot of results. Okay? The next rule is limit your snacks to once to twice per day. If you're trying to lose weight, honestly, you don't need any snacks. It's difficult, but everything in life is difficult, okay? And the most important rule is 80-20 whole foods. What I mean by this is 80% of the time you should be eating whole foods. Other 20% of the time you could eat, you can have your occasional little like processed sugar bullshit thing that you want to eat. But obviously if you're trying to lose weight, you have to keep in mind that it's not going to help you, okay? That's why I said this is not that good for beginners, because if I looked at myself 3 years ago, I would not be able to do this at all. I had no clue how calories look like. I had no clue what was on my plate. I just ate until I was full. Not even until I was full, until I had to vomit. Okay? So if you're trying to gain weight, this could be good for you because you're eating the whole foods, because you're eating good food. But if you're trying to lose weight, I would not suggest this for you. It's less precise and it's very bad for beginners. Okay? But the only pro to it is very simple and it's very low stress. You don't have to take out your phone every couple of minutes when you want to eat and track your calories. But that is better, especially anyway. Diet approach number two, calorie tracking. This is more precise and more predictable, and it's better for specific goals, but it requires learning and consistency. Okay, ideally, you'd only calorie track for like a couple months, maybe a year, however long you want to. And eventually, you're going to get to a point where you can track the calories with your mind. You don't have to get an app out or anything like that. You can just intuitively track the calories. And that's why I say the intuitive eating is better for intermediate people because they understand how calories look like. Anyway, if you're a total beginner, the way you can calorie track is through any app, any calorie tracking app. My recommendation is MyFitnessPal. You can scan the barcode on whatever you're eating, and I'll tell you the calories. You just weigh out your food, all right, and then put it down in the app, and then it'll tell you how much calories you're eating. Okay. Calorie track, you need to know your maintenance calories. This is basically how many calories your body needs to stay the same weight. This number is the starting point for all goals. Now, you could find this number manually through some equations, or you can go online to any TDEE calculator. Uh, this is my preference right here. You just put in your info and it'll tell you how many calories you need every single day. So, adjusting your calories based on your goal. If you need fat loss, calorie deficit, so lower. You want muscle gain, calorie surplus, so you eat more than you need per day. If you want body recomposition, so you want to lose a bit of fat and gain a bit of muscle at the same time, just a small deficit or maintenance will do. Fat loss, calorie deficit. So a moderate deficit is around 500 to 800 calories. This will ensure that you lose around 0.5 kilos to around about a pound per week if you're eating 500. If you're eating 800, it'll be a little bit more than that you lose per week. And it's more sustainable, more beginner friendly if you're in this deficit. But an aggressive deficit is around 1,000 calories, maybe even slightly higher, where you're going to lose around 2 pounds, 1 kilo of fat per week. Now, I only recommend this short term, but if you're a beginner, I would not suggest you do an aggressive deficit just because they're very precise, they're very difficult to do. And if you've never been in a calorie deficit, honestly, a moderate deficit will be perfectly fine for you, okay? If you've tracked your calories before and you've done deficits before, that's when I'd suggest you do an 1,000 calorie deficit if you're more experienced. But if you're a beginner, stick to 500 to 800 unless you have a coach and they can tell you what to do. You have some guidance. But if you have no guidance, just stick to the moderate deficit. Next, body recomposition. This is what I like to tell my skinny fat clients to do, which is just to go into a small deficit of 200, 300 calories, or even maintenance, depends on how much fat they have. And the goal here is to lose body fat whilst building a substantial amount of muscle. And because you don't have too much body fat, you want to lose the body fat slowly and eat enough where you can still build muscle. But if you have a lot of fat, you can still gain plenty of muscle. Even in an aggressive deficit, you can still gain muscle and lose fat, right? Don't worry. Next, muscle gain. So if you want to gain weight, you want a small surplus, 100 to 200 calories. A lot of people, they're super skinny and they just want to gain weight, so they go 1,000 calories above their maintenance. And I would not suggest you do this because if you're skinny, all you need to do is put on muscle. You do not want to put on fat. If you eat a lot more than you should, you're just gonna end up putting a lot of fat, and then you're gonna have to cut back down. So a little 100 to 200 calories goes a long way. Okay, so the goal here is to build muscle with minimal fat gain. So 100 to 200 calories. Number one, protein. This supports muscle recovery and satiety. Satiety basically means how full you feel. So if you're trying to gain weight, I recommend 0.7 grams to 1 grams per pound of your body weight. And if you're trying to lose weight for fat loss, I recommend 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of goal body weight. So if you're, let's say, 200 pounds and your goal is 185 pounds, you go from 0.8 to 1.2 grams per pound of goal body weight. But if you're a bit on the chunkier side and you have a little bit of fat, you can stay on the lower end of this spectrum. But if you're very lean and you're still trying to lose weight, like let's say you're like 13% body fat, 15% body fat, and you're trying to get down to 10, I would recommend you eat the 1.2 grams per pound of body weight just to maintain as much muscle as you possibly can. Next, fat. A lot of people sleep on fat. A lot of coaches sleep on fat, all right? A lot of coaches just focus on calorie deficits and protein, and that's all they think there is. And then the clients feel like shit all the time and they don't understand why. But fat is extremely important, all right? It's just as important as protein. It is very essential for hormone health. So if you're not eating sufficient fat, especially if you're in a calorie deficit, if you're in a calorie surplus, you'll probably be fine because you have enough energy from all the foods. But if you're in a calorie deficit, fat is extremely important. For men, minimum 50 grams, and ideally you get between 60 to 70 grams. But sometimes with your diet, it's a bit difficult to get that. For women, it's even more important to get the correct amount of fat because they're more susceptible to issues that arise out of eating not enough fat. You can lose your period or even worse stuff, all right? So you want to eat at least a minimum of 45 grams, but ideally you'd get between 50 to 70 grams. 70 grams being if you're like a larger woman or a taller woman, okay? This is especially important during fat loss, as I said before. Next, carbohydrates. This is your primary fuel source, all right? This is the gas that you put in the good car, okay? This supports your training performance. And you're gonna fill the remaining of your calories after you get your protein in and your fat in with carbohydrates. Next, fiber. A lot of coaches forget about fiber. A lot of people think it's not needed, but it's actually very, very, very important. It's very important for your long-term health, but I'm not gonna get into that right now because I'm just trying to teach you how to get into the best shape of your life. If you want that in another video, maybe you can check out my Instagram. I probably have a video on it already. Anyway, very important for satiety, all right? If you eat a lot of fiber with a lot of protein as well, you will stay very, very full. Even if you're eating on a very aggressive deficit, like even if it's 1,200 calories, if you're getting your fiber in and your protein in, you won't really feel too hungry all the time. And also fiber is very important for digestion, like poops, right? So you want to eat your fiber. Women, you want to stay up to 25 grams a day, and men between 32 to 38 grams per day. If you have difficulty making meals, getting your macronutrients in, a quick Google search, high protein meals or high protein foods, or ask ChatGPT, it's even better. I've done this a lot of times where it's, hey Chad, I need to eat 20 grams of fiber and 30 grams of protein, and I have this many calories for the rest of the day. How am I going to do it? Chad will just tell me what I can eat. And you don't need to list it exactly, but it helps a lot. So this is just a little tip. Next is strength training. This is the key driver of your body composition, and it's how you're going to preserve and build muscle. And also, it improves your metabolism and health. Why? Because when you strength train, right, you build muscle. And when you build muscle, your metabolism improves, meaning you can eat more food. So it's a win-win for everybody, all right? These are your training split options, all right? So if you're a very busy person and you can only go to the gym three days a week, I recommend you go full body every single day. So every time you go to the gym, you hit your whole body. That's what it means. If you can hit the gym 4 times a week, go upper, lower, upper, lower. So this means on the upper days, you hit your chest, your back, your shoulders, your arms, whatever. And then on the lower days, you hit your legs. So you hit your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, your anything else, all right? Go to the gym for 5 days, I recommend you go chest, back, legs, and then upper, then lower, all right? So first day you hit chest and shoulders probably. Second day you hit your back. Third day you hit your legs. And then fifth and sixth day you go upper and lower. You can hit the gym 6 days a week. You can either go upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower, upper, lower, or you can go chest, back, legs, chest, back, legs. Honestly, you have freedom. With your training split, it doesn't really matter too much. What matters is how you train, all right? So you need to make sure you hit every single body part with 6 to 10 sets per week. So that means if I want to hit my bicep properly throughout the week, I can do maybe 2 sets on Monday of bicep curls, and then on Wednesday, I can do 2 sets of rope curls, and then on Thursday, I could do another 2 sets of preacher curls, right? So then throughout the week, I hit it 6 times. But it's very important is you train till failure. All this means is that when you're training, you cannot possibly do one more repetition of whatever weight you're doing. All right, so I'm going to give you a little better explanation. So let's say you're doing bicep curls, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the 5th one, it's like, and I could not possibly do one more. That's all it means. Or you can train 1 rep, or you can train 1 rep shy of that. So you go 1, 2, 3. The 4th one's like, and I just did it, and then I stopped. Maybe I could have done one more, but that's the maximum I could have done. And then after you do your set, you need to rest for at least 3 minutes, okay? Minimum 3 minutes, all right? If you don't rest enough, your body will not be able to perform well, and you won't get as much gains as you could from the set. All right. And lastly, one of the most important things is you need a progressive overload. This could be by increasing the weight every week or adding another repetition. All right. And sometimes you won't be able to add a rep or increase the weight, but maybe your form improves. That's all it means. So let's say today I did bench press, I did six sets. I did 6 reps of 180 pounds, right? So then next week I do 6 reps of 180 pounds, but I did it with a lot better reps, a lot better form. And then next week after that, I do 185 pounds, but I hit it for 6 reps, right? That's how you're progressively overloading, okay? If you have any more questions about anything that I say in the video, by the way, just shoot me a DM or comment, all right? And I'll answer. I'll be more than happy to answer. Next, this is how you choose the right. Next is choosing the right split. So just choose what fits your schedule, all right? Don't try and overextend yourself. Just do what you're able to do, okay? As long as you're getting to the gym and being consistent with it, you're doing plenty, okay? And you also need to be able to recover from your sessions. If you're feeling like you're going to the gym the next day, but you haven't even recovered, then how about you take a rest day and come back the next day, okay? And what's very important is that consistency beats optimal programming, okay? So this means as long as you're consistent, this will be any program that you have, okay? You just need to stay consistent. Okay, daily movement and cardio. So I'm gonna tell you 10,000 steps per day as a baseline of movement. Okay, you can go down to 8K if you feel like 10K is a bit too much, but ideally you go for 10K steps. All right, this will support your calorie burn and also your health. Okay, make sure you're moving enough in the day. Just up your metabolism just a little bit to make sure you eat a bit more food. It's a win-win, and it's also low fatigue and easy to recover from. Sports and cardio activities. All right, so let's say you go to jiu-jitsu or MMA or football practice or something like that, all right? You want to space your high intensity sessions apart. So if you're doing a very high intensity MMA lesson on Monday, don't go to the gym on Monday as well. You can if you want, but then let's say your session of MMA is in the morning, don't do your gym session right after, do your gym session at night, but ideally just do it a different day, all right? So avoid stacking your hard sessions back to back. Next, sleep. This is very, very, very important. If you train right and have a good diet, but you don't sleep well, it'll be very difficult for you to get the body that you desire. All right, 7 to 9 hours per night, non-negotiable. All right. If you're someone who works better on 7 hours, then 7 hours. If you're someone who needs extra sleep, then 9 hours. You might even need more than 9 hours, but minimum 7. I try my best to get at least 8 hours a night. The way to get your sleep down is you have to sleep at the same time every night and wake up at the same time every single day. All right. And to help you do that, try to get some sun exposure in the morning. So when you wake up, try and go outside just for 5 minutes before you eat, before you do anything. Just drink some water, brush your teeth. Go outside, even if it's just for 1 minute, just to get the sun exposure, just to get the sunlight in your eyes. Even if there's no sunlight and you live in England, just to get the daylight in your eyes. All right, it'll help your body just release the hormones that allow you to wake up. And then, if you go for a walk in the evening time or when the sun is setting, again, your eyes will adjust to the sun, to the light outside, and your body will naturally produce the hormones which allow you to sleep easier at nighttime. Okay, so you also want to dim the lights before bed to create a space where your body will be able to sleep. And also, you want to limit screens before sleeping. All right, an hour before bed, just get off screens. It's better for you. You can think thoughts and do anything else. Just don't be on the screens. It produces artificial lights which keep you awake, keep your brain moving, won't let you rest. And even if you do get like 8 hours of sleep, but you're on the phone the whole night, like right before you went to bed, you're gonna have shit dreams. Okay, like speaking from experience, if I'm on the phone before I go to sleep, my dreams go crazy. Why? Because my brain's going so rapid right before I'm about to go to bed. I had no time to rest. So ideally, you'd just leave the phone away for an hour before bed. Why sleep matters? It improves recovery, and I already mentioned that, but it also supports fat loss hormones. All right. So if you're in a calorie deficit but you don't go to sleep, then it's going to be a lot more difficult for your body to lose the fat and lose the weight. All right. Next, it enhances training performance. If you don't sleep well, you're not going to recover well. Your muscles won't recover, and you won't be able to train the next day. Okay, you need to get your sleep. And lastly, it improves your mood and it will improve your consistency. Because throughout the day, you got a good night's sleep. You're like, oh, I want to do this. I have so much energy today. All right, so you're gonna want to go to the gym. You're gonna want to eat well. But when you get shit sleep, you're gonna wake up feeling like shit, and you're gonna be like, you know what? I don't want to go to the gym today. You know what? I don't want to eat healthy today. I want to do this. So sleep is the cornerstone to a good body. to a healthy body. All right. Next, supplements. These are really not required, but it can help. All right. They only support the fundamentals. They won't replace them. Okay. Your supplements won't replace a bad diet. You need a good diet first. Next, you can think about supplements. These are the useful supplements I take. I take creatine. All right. This increases the ATP cells in my muscles, which allow my muscles to get, let's say I'm in the gym. First set, I do 6 reps. Next set, I can only do 5. If I take creatine, maybe I can get 6. All right. It just allows my muscles to have better stamina. Next, you can either take a daily multivitamin or just take one magnesium supplement, one vitamin D. Actually, take D3 with K2. That's the better one. And take omega 3s. I'm not going to delve into a lot of detail because that's not what this video is about. This video is about the basics, okay? Supplements you don't need, all right? You do not need BCAAs. You don't need greens powder. You know that bloom thing? The greens powder you put in, you're like, and I feel so healthy? That's bullshit. It's a scam. Don't waste your money on that. Waste your money on something else, all right? I'd rather you go gamble your money away than use it on greens powder. At least you might make a buck. Next thing you need to do, next thing you don't need is hydration formulas, right? You don't need some electrolyte drink or none of that. You can just drink water, put a little bit of salt, a little bit of lemon. That's all you need. All right, that's all the electrolytes you need. Hydration formulas are more effective than anything else on this list, but I still think you don't need them. And the last thing that you definitely don't need is fat burners. You know those pills you take and they're like, oh, you'll lose more fat? No, it don't work, okay? It's the biggest scam there is. But, if you like taking these supplements, you can still take them. There's no need. You can waste your money. Then who am I to tell you no? Protein powder. This is not mandatory. It's very convenient, all right? Like, let's say it's difficult to hit your protein in. That's it. You hit 25 grams, 50 grams protein. It's easy, but it's not mandatory, all right? It's helpful if your protein intake is difficult. But personally, I don't really like the taste of protein powder, so I just try to get my protein in through food, especially if you're cutting. Sometimes I feel like it's nice if you eat the food and you feel the satiety on other than, putting protein in the bottle, drinking it, and then, it doesn't really feel like you ate. So how are you going to track your progress? You're going to use your scale weight. You're going to weigh yourself once every single week. And don't worry if, last week you weighed 80 kilos, this week you weighed 79, then the week after that, you're only 78.7, Scale weight is dependent on a lot of things, not only fat loss. Next thing is strength, all right? So you're going to track your progress, track how much muscle you grow through your strength at the gym. If you're getting stronger every day or every week or every 2 weeks, that's how you know you're gaining strength, okay? Number 3, pictures. Take pictures every single day. I suggest you take pictures every single day because back when I was fat as hell, I would have loved to have a billion pictures of that just so I can look back to how I look like now. All right. But if you don't want to take a picture every single day, take a picture once a week. And you can look at, oh, this week I look like this. Last week I look like that. Maybe the scale looks the same, but I can tell I lost a bit of fat. So scale weight, strength, pictures. That's all you need. That's how you're going to track your progress. Conclusion. This system covers everything you need, all right? I told you about everything that you need to focus on. I focus on diet, on your training, movement, sleep, and recovery. So the results you're going to get, they're coming from consistency, not complexity. Don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Don't make it too difficult. Make it something easy, something you can actually achieve, and then just stay on it, all right? If you fail one day, just do it again the next day. I promise you, you can do it. I believe in you. You can get the results you want, okay? If you have any questions, just shoot me a DM. I will voice note you. I'll be happy to do that. I'll come. Maybe I missed some points in this video. Shoot me a DM, all right? Shoot me a comment. Message me on TikTok. You know what? Call me on Instagram. You can do that if you want. I'll probably won't answer, but just try. I might answer. If you need further help, I do provide one-to-one coaching, all right? But the purpose of this video was not to have some sales tactic. The purpose of this video was to give you free information on how to lose weight. If you applied everything I told you, and if you have any questions, comment them down, ask me or ask chat, ask Google. I promise you, you can do the results. But if you still feel like you need more help, just shoot me a message. We can get on a call, and you can just tell me what you're concerned about, and then maybe you'll be the right fit for me, and I'll be the right fit for you, and I can offer you that one-to-one coaching. All right. So stay blessed. I want you to do everything I told you, and I hope you see results. If you've watched to the end of this video, you're a legend. Keep it up. I know you're gonna do great things. And yeah, peace.